And hello, movie lovers. It's Morphin time. We're going to be doing the 1995 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. And the what better way to do this than with some comedians that wanted to be on my show. And it's actually the Black Power Rangers. And no, it's not a multiverse of geekdom or anything like that. It's just going to be us just being basically either roasting this movie or basically just doing our own interpretation on what we thought what worked in the Power Rangers movie and what didn't. So let's go on ahead, let's kick this thing off, and it's good to have them all. And hey guys, welcome to the show.
What up?
Hey John, thank you.
You're very welcome.
How we doing?
So nothing much. It's good to have everybody here. I've been excited about this all week, just to be able to geek out about this film. Not only geek out about this film, but also get to know you guys. I've seen clips of you guys on Instagram, and you're doing your thing. I cracked up laughing at some of your bits. I definitely think that you guys are fire. So I hope that you guys come to Biloxi sometime. Seriously, I would actually tune in to see that.
We're expanding. We're growing.
Yo, put that on the list.
Put it on the list. I got you, guys. I got you. But yeah, but seriously, guys, welcome to the show, and we're gonna kick this thing off with some Power Rangers with the 1995, and I'm just gonna go through a little bit of a background of what the budget was for this movie and things like that too, real quick. And this movie had a budget of $15 million. It also opened at the box office with $66.4 million at the box office, which is not too bad for 1995. But I was also I was thinking that this would actually make a little bit more, considering the fact that a lot of kids like us would go out there and drag their parents to go see it. But what do you think?
No, absolutely. This is the time when I was forcing my parents to keep having to see the show, having to see this movie, buy any of the toys that came out. Because now that I'm old, I can look back and realize, oh, this was just a toy commercial. But I didn't know that at the time. I bought in. It was my heart was pure. So yeah, definitely, that was definitely what'd you say, 68 million?
66.
66 million. Every single dollar of that was a parent that was forced to open up that wallet. Everything, not a $1 of that 66 million was given up willingly. Yeah. That was all coercion.
Yeah, all parent money.
Most definitely. And I even get this at the movie theater in Boston that I went to. They actually had the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers t-shirts that you guys can buy, which is the White Ranger. I'm like, I want that shirt. So my parents not only had to drag them over there to get me a ticket, but I also had to get a t-shirt too, because it was in the movie theater.
That's right.
But, I was just excited about it. Also too, I remember the McDonald's toys, the toy line that they had over there for this. As a kid growing up in the 90s, I had almost every single Power Ranger there was in merch. So yeah.
I had all that in my mind. I had the costumes. I did karate. Like, I trained with them. I had all of it. I was well versed in Ranger culture.
I was the same way. I actually had the karate VHS tape with Tommy. I was actually training with Tommy.
Yeah.
So
bad, but at the time, so good.
Definitely. But now looking at him like, this is so cheesy.
Tommy was out here teaching karate.
Yeah. What is Zeke? Huh? Zeke.
So overall, the very start of it, we actually have like a little Star Wars overlay of the plot line, and then it goes into them skydiving for some odd reason. I just don't get it. But I'm like, okay, I guess that this is to hype the kids, to hype us up as kids. Oh my God, Dad, I want to do skydiving. Like, no, little Timmy, you're like 10 years old. You're not going skydiving.
But they got like the biggest dorks to do it. It's like those are the ones that won't survive.
You're right.
How did Bulk and Skull end up on that plane and nobody else in the school did?
Yeah,
like they weren't even really friends with the Power Rangers. They were more like just nuisances. They weren't like
exactly.
They were like bullies.
Yeah,
they were the bullies. And it's just a bizarre move because it's like, this is a fundraiser for the observatories. Okay, we need to raise money for the observatory. How are we going to do that? We're going to have 8 high schoolers jump out of a plane. We're gonna get these, these junior seniors, put them up in the sky. Like,
Yeah. This was a prime example of like how scenes that looked great to us as a kid look so stupid now.
Yeah.
Tommy hopped out with a snowboard. Like, what was that doing?
you couldn't tell me surfing in the sky wasn't the coolest thing. I was like, oh, he's got a board in this. He's cloud surfing.
Yeah.
I've never seen him regular surf in the show. Like, they never
No.
doing any type of sport like that.
But you know what though? They're like, you know what, dude? Jason, look, we have a bigger budget now. What do you want to do? I want to jump out of the plane. Okay. What else you got? I want a snowboard. You
Oh boy.
It's like, okay, can we do
In
those things
California.
together? No.
But they're doing a charity event, right? So I'm like, Bulk and Skull doing a charity event? That does not sound like this is so out of place for them. Like, I even erased this out of my mind. I'm like, this doesn't make sense for them to be there up in the plane. I get the fact that you're going for like a comedic type of thing, and then it just doesn't land right, pun intended. But yeah, it just doesn't.
Yeah. And even like the fact that they were the bullies and they owned the plane is like, I felt like the director told Bulk and Skull and said, look, I need y'all to be on your best behavior this whole shoot. No getting into nothing, like only a little bit. I was like, because they were in mischief. That's what they're all about.
Yeah, they caused. We were trying to shoehorn them into this movie. They jumped out of a plane. They landed at a construction site. All the stuff that happens at the construction site was going to happen whether they landed there or not. They did not.
Yeah.
They did not affect the plot of this movie until like the last 5 minutes of it. We just needed them in there. But them being on the plane reminded me of were they always the best actors on the show?
Yo, they had range, yo, for real, yo. They had so much range.
They definitely did. Like, if you think about it, you got Jason David Frank, who played the best episode that he actually had for a character arc, and then all of a sudden he just loses the character arc, and it just becomes, to me, very one-dimensional with all these characters. It's like, okay, so what about everything where we got from the Green Ranger all the way up until now? Well, we have a bigger budget now, so everything that we know before, forget about all that. Just have fun. We have a big budget. Kids are going to go drag their parents' asses into the seat. This is going to be all right. We're good. We're going to make this budget up.
Yeah.
I had to pause the movie and ask myself, was this the first movie?
Yeah. Did you feel like you missed something?
Yeah, I did, because I was like, was this the first one? Because like you know, when you think about it, technically it was the origin story of what they were.
Right.
Of course, we watched the show. So much stuff happened on the show.
Oh yeah.
Right. And I was watching it, I said, wait a minute, there has to be another one before this, because I feel like they missed some stuff.
No, they just summarized like 100 episodes of Mighty Morphin with like a Star Wars crawl. They just summarizes like there's Zords. Don't worry about it. They interdimensional beings. Zords. Don't worry about it. This is get.
You know who that was for, though, dude? You know who that was for? The parents who had to be over there for an hour and 30 minutes with their kids.
Yeah.
So the way they could be introduced to this universe, because they didn't have any clue what they were getting themselves into. That's what it was for. It wasn't for us.
This franchise to me in 2 paragraphs or less. Yeah. No, exactly.
Yeah.
I was scared to revisit this because I loved this movie as a kid. I haven't watched it recently. I was scared to like go back. I still love it. I was like, am I the only one on this where I kind of like rewatched it and I was like, oh wait, no, this was a great movie. Like this was. Is it just me?
Yeah. I still love it, but I had to view it with a totally different set of eyes today, and I'm not gonna change my eyes back then.
Right.
But my eyes today saw so much stuff that I was like, oh my God, I had no idea.
Yeah.
That this was in this movie. I still love it. Like again, I'm a fan. I'm a fan all day. So like I still love it. So I was torn today because do I want to point out good stuff, or do I want to point out the stuff that I was like, man, they could have done better.
Yeah.
Especially you told me the budget too. I was like, they could have done way better with the budget.
Yeah.
what they did, like they somebody made money off that movie by doing less.
Mm-hmm. I love how they like PowerPointed off their like gear and stuff, like their little. You can see like the premature AGI with like.
Yeah,
it's like, are you doing PowerPoint slide transition?
Yeah. Yo, that's why I had to watch it again, man. I was like, yo, I was like, you had all the ingredients from the show, but what are we doing with this? Like, it's like it seems like they overspent money over something that you didn't have to spend that much money on this, man.
I found myself earnestly laughing though, because I feel like I laughed at these jokes like when I was a kid. I found myself still like earnestly laughing at a lot of like first of all, every scene Ivan Ooze is the
straight up
straight up
comedian. Straight up
every scene he's in.
Straight crushing. I didn't know it was a comedy. I thought it was just all about action. I was all about the action. I was like Marshawn Lynch as a kid, all about the action also. As I was watching it today, and I was like, yo, this is funny, man.
This is funny. He said, you made me miss the Brady Bunch reunion. I was like,
I wrote that down. Yo, my man was just dropping. My man had been locked up in an egg for years, but just dropping jewels like he was just in the shadows.
No, that was like, all right. So can we get into the plot a little bit?
Yeah, we can. Go on ahead.
You mean to tell me that these construction workers just dug? You mean to tell like this great evil could have been unlocked by anybody with a cat machine?
Anybody
to set Angel Grove like in ruin as it.
They weren't even doing serious digging, bro. Like
hell, even whenever they were digging up the old fossil over there and everything too, it was like.
Yeah, at what point does a construction crew like how many bones does a construction crew have to turn up before they're like, okay, we need to stop so like a paleontologist or somebody can get in? They were still building just around all the fossils.
Yeah.
And yeah, a great evil that ruled the earth 6,000 years ago. We buried him at like 100 feet above sea level. Like he was just right.
He won't even eat, man.
And if it was that close, like why didn't Zordon or somebody say like, hey man, this section right here, block it off. Like use some magic shit to block this part off.
Zordon was like, it took 2,000 years to find that. Y'all just don't dig.
Like,
y'all don't know
Rita
nothing
and all them been trying to get this dude, and we just got the.
That was one thing. I wrote that down. I was like, you know what? Okay, I got a problem with that.
I was mad
to find
in like this little incubator, looking like the last like cantaloupe or something in the produce section. He looked like an old wilted like honeydew out there. I was so mad.
That motherfucker looking like a old honeydew, and
damn.
He looked like first St. Jude kid. Like, what is going on?
Like, you look at him, that he ain't right. He past his prime right there.
No. And then when they were at the construction site in the, I forgot what's the little the ooze, like his minions or whatever, when they got squished by the trash can. It was like, and it was like,
yo, the fart noises, yo, I wrote that down. I was like,
what? The sound design in this movie, like 10 out of 10. Like you get fart sounds when people are squishing. Every time somebody makes a flip, there's like a little like whoosh noise for a back handspring or whatever.
Dude, speaking of kicks,
quality fart noise.
Dude, speaking of kicks, though, we have a Luke Cage kick in this movie with Tom.
Oh, like I saw this and I was like, man, that's where they got that shit from.
Tommy was out here dressed like a young Raiden, and I was like, "What is this? What is this?"
Tommy was like, "Finish him."
He got here with the Dojo 11s on. I'm like, "All right, bro."
He got the Sensei ones on, yo.
How about some Air Force?
He got Namaste 8s on. No.
But you know what though? As a kid, I thought I was going to be seeing some putties or something, but then they changed it into the slime thing. I'm like, okay, so they give a little bit more of an edge, a little bit more of a competition because we've seen that enough over in the TV series. So that's one thing I have to say. I like the fight scenes with the fart noises and the slime and everything. I thought that was actually perfect.
Yeah.
You know,
The fight scenes were on point.
Yeah, they were.
They're like, yo, the trash talking, the fight scenes, the trash talking, the puns, like the man,
have a
like
nice trip.
Yo,
next
like
fall.
Yeah, call, they had calling cards, man, back in the day. Like,
right.
Yo, I remember saying stuff like that to my boys.
Yeah,
like we fake fight, and I say some of that stuff because I wrote some of that stuff down as a kid. I was like, no, I'm gonna use that tomorrow in school. That's a good.
I don't know what I'm gonna say. You ever play kick the can, but I'm gonna use this.
That's gonna be a time and a place for this right here.
Yo, and there's also that, But I was like, okay, so this movie kind of holds up with the fight scenes, and all of a sudden you get into the whole entire thing where they go into the drones and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, this is bad. The CGI is like,
oh my god. Before we move on, I just this is it just me or the suits they had at the beginning? I'm like, why we only see that for a little bit?
Yeah,
I'd say those are fire.
Those suits were dope.
This is their first time the Americans actually shooting suit footage, and they went all out. They're like, okay, we got to make our own versions. They're gonna have high beams in them. I don't know, but they did.
Hey, that's where that 15 million went right there.
So can you make the Red Ranger look like LeVar Burton from Star Trek? We can.
With the
this is a total Geordie moment right here.
It's a Geordie moment.
The suits are fire, man. The suits are fire. The suits are fire. They look lean, they look like the suits were in the gym working out. Like the suits was in the gym on intermittent fasting, just no, we just gotta look good. Like I got our 10 minutes of fame. I was so mad they won't the suits. They were so good, but they won't in the movie long, man. That's why I thought that's the reason why I was like, yo, did I miss something?
And that's what I was about to say. To your earlier point, Matt, that's what made me mad because we should have got the Green Ranger version of that suit.
Yes.
Having him running around the city. Oh man.
Yeah, I think that would have been perfect. I would have loved this.
Yeah. One. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, I would have loved that. I would have loved the Green Ranger suit, the movie quality Green Ranger suit.
To be honest with you, that would make more sense whenever they lose their powers and everything. They revert back to their original clothes and stuff. You know what I'm saying? The original suits, to where they have to earn those other suits back, and it gives more of a way of oh shit, I lost my stuff, so now I need to go ahead and try to re-earn that privilege again.
That would be right. The Black Ranger would have turned black again.
Zach
is hands down my favorite Ranger, though.
Love Zach. I missed that too. It's I forgot that this movie was after we had it was right when they switched the cast.
Yeah,
because they fired those guys those guys were supposed to be in the movie too, and they fired them from the movie.
I was expecting Trini as the Yellow Ranger, and then I totally forgot they had a Black Ranger. I was like, oh shit, they did have a Black. I totally forgot about that.
Aisha and poor Aisha. Every single fight scene, Aisha was the first one they knocked down. Every single time. Y'all think I didn't notice that? I noticed that. Every single fight scene, as soon as stuff starts going off, Aisha gets knocked down and has to scream for somebody to come save her every time.
She always needed help. She always needed help.
She always got back up again. She always tried to handle her business, though. That's something I have to say. She ended up trying to get back up.
That Black girl magic. You ain't gonna keep her down.
No. It's time to boogie with the bear. That's what time it
is. She did have the best ninja one. I really like Ninja Zord. I'm just with the bear.
The bear wins.
Yeah, she had the best one of that. I felt, but oh my god, I'm going too far so far.
No, it's fine. We can just talk about this skip around.
There's more before we get there.
But yeah, even the ninja stuff didn't really work for me at all. Either.
Yeah.
I couldn't buy into it, man. You got those high quality suits, and then you go like, come on, man, I can't. It was hard for me to buy into it. And then, like, I don't know, for me, like the magic of what Power Rangers was when they couldn't defeat the thing, they had to go to these Zords. The fact that on the show they didn't have to be like CGI at all for it to be like popping. It's like, and they went way overboard with it. Like, yo, the CGI was like, okay, we trying some stuff right now with this CGI, and we don't even care if it don't even fit the footage.
Like, they don't even care if it fits the frame.
Yeah.
It's like, these kids know what it is. We don't have to show them the whole thing. We know what's gonna be built up.
I was like that because that I don't know, that aspect of it going into the Zords, like, one before I get to that, the shots though, like, I didn't realize how many close-up shots these motherfuckers had. I mean, I don't know because not, but
yeah, go on ahead.
Yeah. If you go back and watch and count the close-up shots in this, yo, it's majority close-ups.
Yeah,
most of the movies.
We got to cut to them close-ups of them doing all their wrist stuff as they talk.
Yeah. It's like
they have more wrist talks than anything for the zoom in stuff.
Because we gotta keep
wrist dialogue.
I feel like I was watching some cheerleaders doing their thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're directing air traffic. That's what
I'm saying. I wonder if they had to actually do that for just to, like, you know, like, this is just getting you prepped for the movie. Grab both of them. You need both of them. Not one wrist, two wrists at a time. It's coordination.
Hold on, cut. Jason, you're supposed to be using two wrists at the same time, not one. Kimberly, that's not my name. Well, it is today. Look, you're supposed to be using one, not two. You're not supposed to be nodding your head. You're supposed to be doing your hand movements. You need to go on ahead and do your hand movements. Okay, now we're going to do this. Take 100 in action. That's what it felt for me.
Yeah, I will say this. Like, I like the suit Zords, like the live action, like model Zords, better than the CGI. But this is like this is 1995 CGI. This is the Ford Model T of CGI.
For the time, like, I hate watching stuff that I watched as a kid and I watch now, and the technology is different.
Yeah,
because you can't, like, they didn't know what they call it when they shoot stuff over again, or this they go back in and they'll re-digitize,
enhance it, right?
Yeah. They ain't really do that with it too much, but it's like as a kid, that's why I say as a kid, my eyes then, oh my god, I loved all of it.
Oh,
sure. I was geeked out over it. Like, seriously,
I couldn't. Like, if I missed any of it, I cut somebody out. If I missed any of it, I cut somebody out because we were here and watching it now, and I was like, damn, it's so bad.
Like, I ended up posting on my own personal thing, especially I had a shot of the CGI and it's computer generated. So I posted, I'm like, yeah, this was bad CGI. And then my friend Shane, who's actually a diehard Power Rangers fan, he goes, you need to shut your mouth. I said, it is what it is. It's like, you take it as it is, but you know it's bad, Shane. You know it's bad.
Because it was good for the time. That's what I'm saying. I'm torn because it was good for the time because I can't not unsee it back then.
Yeah.
And I can't not unsee it now.
Yeah.
And to me, I feel like I just developed a split personality that it's probably gonna haunt me to the rest of my life now because I just watch.
This is adult Matt and kid Matt.
Yeah,
watch this movie side by side.
Yeah, and we can be deep for the rest of my life.
That's actually how I felt. I felt like I stripped down all the nostalgia for this movie, and I'm looking at it through adult lenses, and I was like, my poor parents, my poor mom. And I even told Will before this though too. I'm like, every single movie my mom would take me to, she goes, "Did you enjoy that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I enjoyed that movie. I really liked it." Mom's like, "Yeah, that's good. I'm glad that you enjoyed it."
all of this was worth it.
Yeah, I hope this was worth it. Don't ask me again.
Can we go back again? Hell no.
Y'all Y'all can back me up on this if I'm wrong on this or not. So Ooze, like, Haxalugi makes the Tengu warriors and sends them off and all. Are the Tengu warriors the crows from the Wiz?
Yes.
That's what it looks like to me.
I thought I was the only one that's gonna think that. I didn't write it down because like, man, ain't nobody. I don't know if they're old enough. Yo, I totally thought that. I was like, yo, he got him out of there early too, though.
I was ready for them to land on Phaedos and be like, recite the crow commandments. Like, I was like, these are the Michael Jackson crows.
Yo, I totally saw that today. And I can't unsee it.
I actually felt that too. Maybe like a little bit of Wizard of Oz vibes though too, with the some Wizard of Oz vibes. With the flying monkey. I'm like, oh my god, they don't know what this is now. Now it turned into that. But also too, the Ooze people actually look like John Travolta from Battlefield Earth as well with the long. So
the Ooze people are like a modern, like a futuristic Milli Vanilli type people. Like, yo, they were.
I was ready for them to do some lip syncing. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Horrible.
They have dreads.
Yeah, they had extensions. Yeah.
Some interpretation of what dreads are, but yeah, they had dreads.
Just like purple predators running around. Yeah,
that's so sad. I was like, yo, this is so. Oh my god! And I thought it was just cheesy because every once in a while, like they hit them and then they ooze and then they break and then sometimes they didn't break and it's like, what? Like
they got hit points. That's video game logic. They got sometimes if a big hit would do it, sometimes a small hit would. You just got to get those. You got to get those hits.
You get those combos in. You got to get those combos.
Exactly. You got to get those combos in. Get that health bar real low.
I would say this: the one that got splattered through that grate, yo, I loved that as a kid, and I still love it again as an adult. Yo, I was waiting for that. Like when I saw that fight, I was like, I know what's coming.
It's time to puree this dude.
But can we talk about the fact that they use the Ooze to get the parents to work for them at this shitty ass construction site?
That was the dumbest thing. Like, what type of adult?
Ain't no adult
walk in their house, see a random jar, and just go open it and like stick the hand in. You mean to tell me every parent in Angel Grove did that same shit?
So Jordan, you come home. You're an adult. You come home right now. There's a thing that just says Ooze. It says Ooze on the label, sitting on your counter. Yeah. What are you doing with that? You're not. You
forgot one thing. You forgot one thing, man. It's white people, okay? We open up anything.
Yeah.
I would put.
You're not open. We're gonna open it. So I'm just gonna let you know.
I ain't pay for this. It's going in the trash. Yo, like even in that scene, the only person that had ooze on their hands was that dude. Like, because I specifically, I even stopped it too, and looked at it as much as I can. I was like, yo, let me look at everybody else's hands, because just the continuity aspect of it. It's like if all of them did that, all of them would have one hand just at least dripping with ooze, because it won't know. Like, let me clean my hands before I go out zombie like for the rest of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it was kind of suggest that touching it is even too far. Like the rest of them just like opened it and smelled it, and that was enough for them to like get zombified. And he's the only one that was like, well, I'm gonna use 3 fingers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's an overachiever.
I'm angry. I like thinking my hands and stuff. So,
and that's my second thing. All right, so what was Alvin Ooze's whole point of like doing all this? Because all I got was that he was trying to destroy the city. And if you could already shoot lightning bolts out your hands, why'd you go through this whole thing of getting the parents on board? Like, just go get to work. You could have knocked this out in the afternoon.
Yeah, ain't nothing gonna scare nobody.
Because they know the parents don't want to work no 9 to 5 anymore. They already got home from their busy day of scheduling, so he has to go on ahead and try to make them work again, do overtime at this construction site. That's what it is.
Like, every villain's got like a 5-part plan. It's like, yeah, he's stronger than Zed. Yeah, he destroyed Zordon. Yeah, he's the strongest being in the universe. But if your plan doesn't have at least 5 steps that involves more proxies taking over and if you're going to take over the world, you have to start with the only city in the world that has superheroes protecting it. Every villain has to go through that trial before they could call themselves a real villain. Yeah, you're right. No, he could have taken over Angel Grove himself, but it's way more fun to make oozified dinosaur fossils do it for you.
Yo, and like even like when you said the 5-step thing, my thing is like they got this 5-step plan. Yo, the get-go, the first couple steps be banging. The last couple steps is you just ran out of good ideas.
He got rid of Zordon within 10 minutes of being out the egg. He got out the egg, destroyed Zordon. It's like that should be you beat the Milwaukee Bucks in the first round. Like that, you should be all good for you from here.
And even Rita, for that matter, too.
He crushing it. And then they start fumbling. Like, come on, man! Like, think back how you just destroyed the Power Rangers' power.
Yeah, you got rid of the Power Rangers' powers. Zordon, Rita. This should be all gravy from here. You're doing great. Keep up the
right.
space.
You're doing a fantastic job. You don't even make these parents work their asses off again on a job they don't even want to go to.
Keep the kids.
What are you gonna do, Ivan? I'm gonna make them work themselves to death. Sounds good. Let's do it. But yeah. But all in all, I mean, this movie for me just doesn't hold up like it used to. It has some nostalgia factor. I actually saw an Air Jordan hat, which I was like, "Oh, right, go Michael." In this though too, I'm like, okay, but you know, it just doesn't hold up for me looking through adult lenses and now stripping away the nostalgia, stripping away everything that I love. I'm like, yeah, this is definitely not going to go on my 4K television.
Yeah, I totally watched it on the laptop.
I watched it on my phone. So
that's y'all's mistake. I put it on the TV. I stripped away the nostalgia. I stripped away
everything.
I looked at it with fresh adult eyes, and I said, "This is a masterpiece. I am looking at this movie. This movie was made by people who care about the IP." who want me to feel like a kid again. This is a beautiful. When that Fred Savage looking boy hugged his dad at the end of this, that was me right there. It's like that. This movie got this right. I was like, I just stripping it down. I was like, yeah, this is you. You can be a Power Ranger, kid. You can be the Gold Ranger if you believe in yourself enough. I love that. This movie spoke before we got Miles saying anyone can wear the mask. I had this movie.
But we're gonna get into the interviews part of this though, guys. So here's the thing. I watched a lot of y'all's clips. I love how relatable that the stories that you guys tell. Brandy, with your whole entire deal where you're working from home and then all of a sudden, you're on the toilet. That bit for me, I was cracking up laughing the whole entire time. Like, no joke. I just want to say all of you guys are very creative when it comes down to doing bits and stuff. You guys have your comedic timing down path. You guys are outstanding with it. Matt, I can actually relate to you about that one joke where it's like this one guy says, "You know what? I just have to go to prison. It's just something I have to do." So, funny thing here, okay? I live in a little small town, and there's this guy that I know, and he's like, "You know what, man? I did some time in prison. It's just something you had to do." I'm like, what? I had the same reaction you did. I'm like, wait, what are you talking about as something that you had to do? I had to make Legos as a kid.
Yeah.
That's something that I had to do. I had to make Egos. I had to make food for my mom and everything. That's something I had to do. Me going to prison, that's not something I got to do. It's not like I woke up as a baby and said, "Oh, prison, how about that?" Yeah. That's not something I need to do. I have to do the dishes. I don't have to go to prison. But yeah.
I don't even know criminals that be like, you know what, jail is it. It is. Like, because they ain't trying to get caught.
But my question is for you guys, like, how long have you been doing this and things like that? How long has the Black Power Rangers been in production doing these bits and doing the comedic stuff? And do you guys do anything on your own, or you're just like one big huge unit where you guys go on stage and you crush it?
This is our second year of Black Power Rangers. So we did a tour last year. Upcoming is our second year where we're doing 10 cities together. all of these guys that are on the tour, all these folks, they've been doing comedy for years. So for the most part, and we're all in different cities. So the tour is when we link up. Otherwise, we randomly get to see each other every once in a while. But just doing the tour is when we actually get to combine and like put on a show together.
Oh, cool. That's actually a pretty interesting concept. So how did you guys meet though? Was it like, did you guys know each other beforehand, or did you like, you know what, this dude seems pretty funny, I think I'm going to go ahead and vibe with him for a little bit. Brandy seems pretty cool. And I like her style, so I'm going to vibe with her. And it just became this one thing where, like, you know what? We have a little bit of something going on here that actually feels like magic. So we're just going to go on ahead and build this thing up and see where it goes. How did it all come together?
Yeah, so we've I'll, just speaking for myself, I've been doing comedy in North Carolina for around 12 years, and each of the folks on the tour are people that I invited on to do the tour last year and to do the tour this year because we've crossed paths at different times. Matt, is one of the first people I met when I started doing comedy. He was the one that showed me a bunch about like putting an act together, how to build an act, and how to kind of treat this as a craft. And Brandy and Jordan, we've never lived in the same scene together. So anytime I got to see them, it would just because it would be lucky. I met Jordan at a standing in line for a comedy audition where we had to do 1 minute of stand up and just had fun hanging out with him. And Brandy's been killing it in Raleigh, and so like anytime I see Brandy's in Wilmington or I get to catch a show with her, it was just like a constant thing of like Brandy was funny the first time I met her, and it was this thing where like over the years, every time I saw Brandy again, Brandy's only gotten funnier. She's only like no stagnant, nothing. She only has gotten funnier. So we had the idea of doing the show, and just like these are the people who I reached out to. I said, would you do this with me? And I didn't have backups for them. I didn't have nothing else because I was like, well, I just hope they say yes. I got lucky with that.
Now, so you can notice in that answer our levels, because he was like, yeah, Matt taught me how to put a set together, and Brandon be funny since I met her. And then Jordan did a minute of stand-up there one time.
And Jordan's just in the background holding a boomer. That's all he's doing.
Sorry. Jordan is one of the most talented comics in North Carolina.
I'm joking, man.
No.
He's killing it with his social media, though, for real. He got
if y'all want
to follow everybody on here, so I'm trying to get on the bandwagon. Put me in a sketch, yo.
Nah, that's part of my idea. We all need to like link up and like review videos as part of the tour.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Here, floating around here to link up, and we lit right now with the AAV. We making our black people proud. I'm so happy about this.
Sure.
So where are you guys from, though? I'm just wondering too.
Music video commentaries, they're all hilarious. Like check out Jordan's Instagram, TikTok, hysterical.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely check out some of Jordan's stuff though too, and things like that, as well. And I was just wondering too, like where you guys are from, and I know that you said you guys are in different parts of the cities and stuff.
I'm in Raleigh, but I grew up in Supply, North Carolina, towards the coast of North Carolina, close to where Wheels is currently, but I'm in Raleigh right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I live in Raleigh right now too, but I'm from North Carolina originally, small town North Carolina. It's near the northeast coast. It's called Hereford, North Carolina. It's near Elizabeth City. Small, but I started in Greenville, went to Wilmington, and then ended up in Raleigh. I am not going to any other place in North Carolina. The next move is out of state. Okay.
Yo, you ain't trying to come hang in
Charlotte? How you doing?
You ain't trying to come hang in Charlotte?
Hey man, I'll pop in here and there, but it's like,
you gotta collect that. You gotta collect that Charlotte stone for your Infinity Gauntlet. You gotta just go ahead and pop that on.
Yo, for real though. Yo, that would be a major flex. It's like I did it in all of them.
I don't know. He just won a comic contest in every single scene. Just...
I am North Carolina. that would like if I had other goals, that would be like, you know what, that's fun. That is fun.
Just
But
do
not
one
like-
whole state of North Carolina. Just do it at like every single town.
Yeah. Just like, you know, I gotta hit all. I like Pokemon. I gotta hit all the places.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only place I've actually been out in North Carolina was like Andrews, North Carolina, and that's like the only place I've been at. And
Pressure.
Yeah, it's still kind of like the rest of North Carolina.
Her real review wants you to make it happen. She wants you to come to Charlotte, Matt. She wants you to.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I got goals to pop. I've been popping down there. Like I got some things that I've been popping down there. Because I mean, I don't know. Like, every scene is different, and I don't know. When you look, it is like an Infinity Gauntlet thing. Every scene has something that's different. That if you can master it, you can go anywhere with it.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and that's in a weird way. I wasn't really trying to do that. I was just trying to find a home, pretty much. It's like I was just trying. Wilmington for me, for real. That scene down there, I didn't want to leave that. That scene down there and how we worked together. Like Will's, like I met Will's when he first started, and it won't no hate. It won't no like, yeah, young buck, you need to do this. That like that scene down there is. I don't know. I won't say it's so supportive. We bust balls. We do like we help each other. It's like we do all the things, and it was so dope, man. The hangs at the mics, even if we didn't get up, like some of the stuff I created more stuff off stage, just talking to the comics, than I did on stage because of the fact that we just love to have fun around each other. Like it was all they had to shut us up sometimes. Oh, y'all having way too much fun back here. It's like, not bad. Let's go outside. Come on.
That's good though. I mean, I like the fact that you guys all vibe like that because it's hard to find people, and especially in the comedic standpoint, and also too with anything really, to have egos. And I can definitely tell that you guys have like that brother and sisterhood where you guys get along. And that's actually the hard thing to have nowadays because everybody's always wanting to get to the top and try to run over and throw people under the bus instead of being on the same bus as everybody else and have that same respect. Because you're all in here on the same team. You guys are going to get there at the same time. But other people just like, you know what? I want to get there faster, so I'm going to just go ahead and throw somebody else under the bus there so that way I can get there faster. But I definitely respect that. I respect that about you guys.
I appreciate that. No, everyone's, it's very much, especially with, so the idea with Black Power Rangers is like, yeah, we're doing it as a tour, but it's also the idea of it being like a network where as we go city to city, we're adding more comics to the lineup as guests. So just the idea of it being like, this is a network of Black comics supporting each other, and with the understanding of like, your success is my success. Like I'm doing nothing but rooting for you because that's what this looks like.
And you see, that's exactly how it should be. That's how I have with my co-host and everything too. We're on basically my channel is basically a small podcast unit as well. And I'm over there, I'm supporting Rossie, and she's supporting me. Alex is supporting me. I'm supporting them. And it all balances out because we're all rooting for each other. And that's the same way for you guys, too. Because you need that. You need that balance. And also, too, you guys can share the same stress level. Like, hey, look, man, my mental health is not as what it is or anything. Can you help me out? Stuff like that. Because mental health also has a lot to do with everything, too. And you need to have that balance and that friendship there. Otherwise, y'all are going to end up losing balances on each other to the point where you guys might actually burn out. Yeah. So my question is this, like when it comes down to mental health, I know you guys are there for each other as well, right?
Oh, no. Will's is definitely pushing us to our absolute limit. I'm kidding, of course. Nah, man.
Mother had me in tears before I came on.
We're going to talk about Power Rangers as a family, and we're going to smile in front of these white folk. You are not going to embarrass me.
No, but on like the mental health side, like for this type of crew, just because I mean, even just clicking with each other, we all like I know everyone in totally different places. We all know each other in like different places, but we all click with each other too, in a lot of different ways. Like, and that right there is good for your mental health when you're finding even if you don't do too much with them, but finding somebody else that's out there and say, okay, I can relate to that person. That person was cool to talk to. Like, it wasn't like the competition aspect of what it is what it is. And you can't take it out of it, because it's not. I mean, in some places, unless you create your own, there's not a lot of spots available unless you create your own. And a lot of times more spots come when you create your own, because now you put something else on the table. But that's like when ain't nobody trying to put nothing on the table. Like, everybody here is creating their own. It's about it's about innovating. It's about doing something. It's about I'm not gonna wait around for nobody else to say, hey, you good to go. Like, we all about trying to actually do our own thing. We run out, like, we're doing our own thing, which is good when you meet other people. For me, anyway, when you meet other people that's like you, regardless of the age level, but when you meet other people that's like you, it's easy. The mental health aspect. So, okay, now I know there's other people like me that's out there.
That's great. That's fantastic as well. And, I think that it's actually pretty cool that you guys are in separate parts, but you guys are still close. It's actually hard to have that, though, too, where you guys are in separate places, but having that chemistry and that balance there actually helps,
Yeah,
And
I pay attention to everybody that's up here, except for the white dude. My bad. I just met you.
No offense taken.
But no, I be watching. I know. I be watching. I kind of got like
it's all good.
the big brother vibes and like the stepfather vibes. So it's like I be watching, and I mean, it's a proud thing, man. It's good to see people progressing, regardless what. It's not. I mean, I don't want to be like, oh, it's just about black people, but no, it is good to see different types of black people progressing and like doing what they want, like doing the things that they want to do instead of like settling for not necessarily the scraps, but settling for anything that's out there. But so, I want to do this, and okay, I'm gonna do it.
Right.
So it's just. No, go ahead.
I definitely understand that, man. Like, you don't want to settle for anything more than what you are worth, and you want to be known as somebody that's worth for something. And I believe in equality on every single front, if you think about it, because everybody deserves the same equal chances as everybody else. It doesn't matter what your skin color is or anything like that. If your work is what you're supposed to be worth, pay that person what they're worth. Don't try to go ahead and try to put this person down at a lower tier. That person's doing the same amount of work as somebody else is. So that person deserves the same amount of work as somebody else, as that same person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
And with these guys that are, everyone that we're working with doing this, these are all just folks that like, I don't get to see them often. I don't get to see them like maybe more than like 5 times a year at the most, at the most. But it is a thing of whenever I do see them, I'm seeing someone who is the closest to understanding what it's like to be me, who is the closest to understanding what I deal with as a young creative and as a young Black creative in this area. So that's one of the ways that it's always just great to like kind of talk to each other. Is like if I don't see Brandy, more than like 5 times a year or whatever, I know that when I see her, I am able to like talk to somebody who understands me on a level most other people don't. And that's what I always like about just kind of working with these comics. And that's like the idea that inspired this is it's always been, and not for folks that aren't even on the Black Power Rangers tour, for comics that aren't even like in this, just like kind of North Carolina, South Carolina, like just these comics that are in general that we see, who it can be years since we last seen each other. If I see you, we're family and we're going to hang out and we're going to talk. We're going to ask how each other are doing. And just that idea of community was what inspired the Black Power Rangers tour. Before I had a name for the tour, I knew that was what the theme was I'm going to be doing this show with people who make me feel like I'm at home. So
that's awesome. That's good.
Yeah.
And my other thing too was like, when you guys are on a tour, do you guys go out all on the stage at the same time, do bits together and stuff like that too? Because I was wondering, not yet. Because that would be something I would like to see, though. I mean, like, it's good to have like solo acts within the Black Power Rangers stuff, but it's good to see everybody in this thing doing skits, doing bits of different stuff and has like an SNL kind of flavor to it. And that's
not yet. Y'all watch out. We're gonna do the blue collar style. Get the chairs out side by side. But for the tour we did last year and for the tour we're doing this year, it is a stand-up show. It is like we make it an environment of like, you know, of like just kind of like we're celebrating this all together, but it is just like a stand-up show of the host introducing each comic out one by one. That's why I love doing stuff like this, and like just because this is the time where we get to like all, you know, riff with each other and kind of show like what our personalities are side by side, and get the sense audience already get the sense when they come to the show we're not all the same person. And I think that's great for the show. And I think that's doing stuff like this show, which we appreciate you having us on for. Like it's fun for problem. Like being able to see like all of us at once and hanging out with each other.
Oh, it's not a problem. I'm glad to have you guys on here and everything. As soon as I got you guys wanted to be on here, I'm like, hell yeah, okay. I know exactly how I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go on ahead and pull on some nostalgia, and then after that, I'm gonna erase that nostalgia. Then after that, we're gonna go on here and roast this thing, and you know, looking at adult lenses. I already knew beat for beat on how I wanted to do this, because I'm like, what better way to do this than have the Black Power Rangers review the Power Rangers movie, and then conduct an interview 30 minutes after this. So I thought it was actually perfect. But my other thing, okay, so my question is this. What is the most challenging thing when it comes down to doing your writing and stuff like that? Do you guys try out with your spouses and be like, hey, look, I have this joke here. You want to hear it? And then like, yeah, that sounds good. Remind me not to hear that again. But do you guys try it out with your spouses? Do you guys try to work it out with each other? Be like, hey, look, I have this punchline, but this punchline is not hitting the way I wanted to hit. So is there a way to balance this punchline to where I can work it out? Because I have a feeling that maybe between the three of y'all, that you're like, you know what? Maybe if you go in and put this punchline here, put this intro at the very middle of it instead of the beginning, we can flush that out a lot more.
Yeah. So I think that's usually how it goes. It's like, at least for me, like the first thing I do is like run something by my girlfriend. Now it don't really matter how she reacts. I'm still gonna take it and talk to somebody else about it. It's just like, you're like, I'm just like so happy that I thought of something. It's like, somebody gotta hear this, so you have to hear it. And then I'll see Wills or whatever, comedian Charles will kick it, and I'll be like, hey, what do you think of this? And we'll like workshop things. But I mean, either way, man, you never know for sure how a joke is gonna work until you get on stage and try it out in front of the audience.
Yeah. Like for me, like I test it out on anybody I can, because I mean I like my biggest thing about testing out something I thought was funny. If I can find a random person that don't know nothing about me, and I can get them in a conversation, and I can just ease this thing in this conversation, I'm getting a really good gauge whether or not if they think it's funny or how they're gonna naturally react to it just for hearing information. So like sometimes I do that. Sometimes I have like little writing sessions where I have a couple comics over. We used to have writing sessions till like 4 o'clock in the morning. Like they were real. Like they weren't just like people were just like, man, this is just dragons. Like, no, we just realized, oh, it's 4. Like so like it depends, and you can't do it with everybody. The group has to have that connection. It has to have that like that work ethic, that thing. It's like, no, I'm here to get better. And a lot of times if I'm around certain people, if I see people going on stage, like if I say Brandy go on stage and do something, I'm gonna go to it and say, yo, I like this, add this, do this, you can do this with this. I do that with a lot of comics. I know some people don't want it, but I'm like, all right, I got a good gauge at what I'm doing. And I personally, for me, I can help others way faster than I can help myself, which is so weird. I wish I could turn it around. But like, but yeah, that's my process, and have fun with it. Try it out. Keep trying it out. If I think it's funny, I'm gonna work it out.
Yeah, for me, like what Matt said and like what Jordan said, you do want to shop it with other people. But for me, whatever naturally comes funny, if I find something in conversation, I'm like, oh, there's something there. Let me take this exact way that it came out and take it to the stage. I need to get that immediate real-time feedback to make sure that it just wasn't just us thinking that it's funny. If it
Right.
works, okay, cool, I can build on that. But I really try to keep it as authentic as possible because I realize that with comedy, if you think too much, more than likely it's not gonna be funny. You know, if you let it naturally unfold itself and you add a detail here, you add a detail there, like it kind of like rabbit holes itself out.
Mhm.
You just kind of got to gauge how you want to end it or like what's the point of it all. But yeah, I think the more I do this is my 7th year doing comedy, my process has changed. I don't write a lot anymore, and I thought that was wrong because when I first started, I was writing a lot, but like now, I'm riffing a little bit more, and I'm actually like editing in real time. So I'm like, okay, this work. I'm gonna add that in next time, and I'm gonna change the cadence of how I deliver it, or I might do an act out with it. And so like I'm watching the videos and I'm editing myself for the next performance. So it changes. It just depends. Like it just changes over time. I can't say it's just one thing, but authenticity is the main thing for me.
Right.
I don't want it to feel rehearsed too much, even if it is, you know.
Right. What about for you, Will?
No, I absolutely I've all of what y'all said resonated with me on that. I've had that experience just like being on the tour and like Brandy would be telling a story and I'd be like, do you say that on stage? You should say that on stage. You say that on stage the exact way you said that just now. But yeah, I tend to I get an idea, I'll write the premise down on my phone, and then I'll take that to the notebook and kind of flesh it out. I talk to myself out loud a lot. Just, there's so many times in the car, just wherever I am, just talking to myself. My phone is filled with voice memos of me performing the bits to myself out loud. Sometimes I'll like daydream and then start talking to that's also I think most of it is just like kind of talking to myself and trusting if my wife says to me, like if I'm telling her a story, if she says, do you say that? You should, that's a story. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll trust that. I'll trust her instinct on that and get up on stage. And I relate to like what Matt's thing about like kind of giving notes. I love doing that. I love like, because it feels like if I'm seeing someone else perform a new bit, it feels like I'm like watching them kind of like lay out like like a puzzle, and I'm like, oh, I know the piece that should go right here. But if I'm doing a puzzle by myself, I suck at it. But I can always solve everybody else's. I can always solve everybody else's puzzles.
Right. I think this goes down as a creative standpoint where it's like, you know what, we're too tied into what we do to where we don't notice what we're doing. And when we see somebody else do it, it's like, hey, let me help you do this.
Yeah.
Because I can master this. Right. And then it's like, wait, what do I do? Right. But I think it's the fact that we as creators are so attached to what we do to the point where we don't know exactly where these pieces go. And we analyze other people's work because of the fact that we see what they're doing, and therefore it's easier to look in through a lenses of somebody watching somebody else versus it being right there because it's nobody can see your perspective but you. So it makes it 10 times harder. So I'm the same way.
Yeah, I call that the like the King Arthur stories. Merlin can see everybody's future except for his own. Merlin can't see his own future. So I call that like the Merlin effect. Is like I can see everybody else's. I can see where everybody else's jokes are supposed to go. Not for me. y'all look at mine.
I was like,
exactly.
Help me if you want to.
Yeah, right.
It's like help me help you.
Yeah.
Kind of situation. But yeah, man, look, guys, you guys are hilarious. I want to actually see you guys in Biloxi, Mississippi. Seriously. At a casino or somewhere like that, like go on the docket. I'll get some group of people from work to try and check you guys out.
It sounds like you got at least one ticket sold in Biloxi.
Okay.
I don't care if I'm the only one laughing. To be honest. I'll buy you guys drinks all night.
Let me bust my green book out. We'll come out there.
Okay. Let's see. One customer, one ticket, backyard.
Backyard.
Hey man, we can make a barbecue out of it, man. Come on.
Right,
Man.
hell yeah.
Ooh, yes, yeah.
That sounds really good. Yeah. hey, there's a park right down the street, but I'm good. So, yeah.
I only need a little piece of land. I don't need much.
Yeah.
Like not even an acre. It's like just one little strip.
Yeah,
That's it.
just a little square. Just give me a little square. Enough to put the grill and a body on. That's all I need.
All right. But seriously, guys, thank you so much for doing this interview. You guys are fire. I definitely enjoyed talking to you guys. You know, if you guys ever want to come back on the show and everything and review some movies, let me know. Just hit me up in the emails and stuff like that because I enjoyed having you guys.
Have you done Space Jam 2 yet?
Yeah, I've done Space Jam 2.
Okay, all right.
It's actually the first. I'll be real with you. This is actually the first interview that we actually not interview, but the first review that we actually had a parental advisory sticker on because of how bad, how much we ranted on it. That's how bad Space Jam 2 was for us. Because if you go into the audio section of this, I said parental advisory, parental guidance, Space Jam 2. I can just be like, what the fuck? Why is that? Why is it parental advisory? Trust me, it's parental advisory.
I'll die on that hill. It was. If you make a Space Jam movie in 2022, that's what it is. That's what it did. Its job. It was a. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm digressing. You were wrapping it up, and I'm digressing.
No. Rant. I'm happy with it.
Don't let wheels go down this rabbit hole, man.
Because see, in today's modern sensibilities, everyone's more idea to a multiverse idea anyway, and we're kind of acting like that this movie is more of a capitalistic cash grab, and that's what the first movie was too. So it's committing the same sins. It's just we are grown up anyway. I'm sorry.
We'll say the LeBron story for another day.
Yeah.
LeBron, that does not mean that you make your own biopic because I said the LeBron story. Okay.
we should just review LeBron.
That's not a bad idea.
There's a lot there.
There is a lot of ego there, but yeah.
Definitely.
But anyways, guys, thank you so much. This is a privilege to be able to do this with you. I wish you guys a lot of success on your tour. You guys are fantastic. I love what you guys are doing. Keep up the awesome work. Bring some laughs to the table. And buy my one ticket. Thank you for giving me my one ticket. I do appreciate that. I also have a backstage pass.
Yeah, I appreciate you so much. I just want to get it out there. The tickets are on sale now. We're doing 10 cities this year. willsmaxwell.com/tour2023 or blackpowerrangerscomedy.com. We're doing Raleigh, Charlotte, Knoxville, Nashville, Atlanta, Greenville, South Carolina, Wilmington, Richmond, Washington, D.C., and Baltimore. So if you are out there or you're going to be out there, tickets are on sale now. You can go ahead and get your tickets.
Another thing, too, is if you don't know any of the information that Will just pointed out or anything, don't worry. All the links is in the description below so you guys can purchase your tickets and stuff because I'm a big supporter of these guys. You guys need to go on ahead, get some laughs in there, bust a gut, and always until next time, guys. It's been real. It's been fun. Can't wait to do this again, and bye-bye.